Hi, dear language learners. If you have put into place that ideal learning routine, those 5 minutes a day to study your next language, but you're still not seeing results, you're still not on your way to fluency, you're still not speaking, try these principles. I'm going to share with you today 3 principles that actually respect your brain's way of memorizing more effectively so that you don't fall prey to this I call it fall prey to the misconceptions of studying really hard. There's so many misconceptions around that. We tend to think that working hard means suffering, and it's actually not. It shouldn't be. So, hi, I'm Dr. Alex. I'm a social psychologist, and I share the fundamental laws of social psychology to actually have you learn more efficiently and to speak with unshakable confidence. And please, if you haven't yet, download your copy of Everyday Nano, 7 Steps to Fluency. This is your guide to respect the social psychology, know the fundamental laws, and transfer that into your own life, and you will see how so much more enjoyable the whole process will be. Now, let's start with today's video. So the first one is actually you need to have the principle in your everyday learning of active learning and passive learning together. What do I mean? Passive learning, for example, is listening to words, sentences, or situations in your new language. And active learning means actually practice to say that in an embodied way. So embodied learning, if you have watched my last video on confidence, means you need to kind of tie an activity to that. So for example, if you are learning vocabulary and sentences about cooking, the best is to, in your next cooking, if you prepare a nice meal, you need to then, in that activity of doing that, say a sentence you have learned. And you can either talk to yourself, to your animals, to your family members. I know it sounds weird or it feels weird. To me at first, it felt really weird, but it's worth it because your brain will actually memorize much quicker. Because the secret behind it is once your brain will link an experience and a meaning to that new sentence, it will just create those linkages, that new wiring of your brain in a much quicker way. So try it out and let me know in the comments how that goes for you. Number 2 is self-respect. Self-respect means, in that sense, actually respecting your brain's health. So if you have installed those 5 minutes per day, if you have also installed that principle of going less is more, excellent. But try also to respect your brain in terms of just sometimes take a pause. When you don't feel like it, don't learn today or don't practice, because sometimes you need to give your brain, sometimes you need to give your brain that time to actually have the information you take in settle and digest it. And you will see, even with some, I don't know, 3 or 4 days of a break, your brain is working on it and memorizing it all the same. So what I sometimes also do, if I feel I'm getting a bit overwhelmed with what I'm learning, I try to repeat the same sentence every day for 2 weeks. And I don't feel I'm not making progress because I trust my brain that this process of always repeating actually is creating some effect as well. There are studies who have proven that if you want to learn a new thing, you on average need 2 weeks to get a new habit, a new information kind of ingrained in your brain. So repeating the same sentence or alternations of that sentence for 2 weeks actually totally respects your brain, because that gives it sufficient time to link that new sentence to an experience. And number 3 is actually the environment, the fun environment. There's nothing worse than this misconception that working hard means suffering, or like something that feels like an obligation, or really hard means really, not enjoying it. It's quite the opposite. if you respect the social psychology behind it, it needs to be always something like a feel-good feeling that is linked to it. Feel-good feeling, yeah, that's a perfect expression. You know what I mean. So it needs to be an environment where you enjoy yourself, where you feel good. What I do personally, and I will actually recommend that to you. I use music to raise my energy. I mean, music has such a powerful effect of raising your vibration, also make you focus on something really effectively. Have a look. I will link in also. I run a focus music channel on YouTube, which helps you to focus on one thing at a time while you're studying. And I use that as background music. It really helps me so much. Because once I have that background music on, not only do I feel better, but also it creates that shield around me that helps me to focus on one thing. So try that and let me know how that works for you. And as a final remark, I think we all know once we had a positive event in our life, we will always remember it. And this is basically what you need to translate for language learning. Creating positive experiences with your language learning every day, that is actually the key to respecting your brain in terms of how to memorize and to build that lasting, idea of how it makes you feel positive to speak in that new language. So try that. Let me know in the comments how that resonates and follow me for more. Thank you for watching today.